This is Run It Back with RJ Broadhead.
The Tiger Cats are in the playoffs. They officially qualified on Saturday after they beat Calgary 22-15. Welcome to Run It Back. I'm RJ Broadhead. The Tiger Cats fell behind in this game 6-0. They were shut out in the first quarter for the 8th time this season. 8 times in 15 games. So over half their games, they have not scored in quarter number 1. That's something to work on for the playoffs. Taylor Powell, the 24-year-old rookie, has kept the team in the mix for the playoffs. He started the game and deserves so much credit for what he's come in and done for the Tiger Cats this season. He had a slow start in this one. He went 2 for 6 for 14 yards, and it was an opportunity for Coach O to get Matt Shiltz back into game action. Turned out to be a great move. Shiltz came in the second quarter. He threw his first pass for a 70-yard touchdown to Tim White. That's White's 7th touchdown this season. Shiltz then threw another touchdown to Terry Godwin. He's got 5 on the year and has a touchdown in 3 straight games. The Tiger Cats wound up scoring 16 unanswered points in the second quarter and led by 10 at the half. Quarter number 3 started slow for the Ticats. They were shut out in the third quarter for the second straight game. Calgary closed to within 7 points, but that's as close as they would get, as the Tiger Cats won 22-15. It was the Ticats' second straight victory at Tim Hortons Field. The defense was a huge factor in the game. They held Calgary to 92 yards rushing. It's the third straight game where the defense has held opponents under 100 yards rushing. And that is something to note because they had struggled with it earlier in the years. So we wanted to make sure on Run It Back that we brought attention to that rushing defense that has really seemed to overcome their early season struggles. Casey Sayles and newcomer Jamal Davis both had quarterback sacks. Sayles is now tied with Malik Carney for the team lead with 5 quarterback sacks. It was the first time in 5 games the defense did not have an interception, but they forced a couple of fumbles. Kenneth George and Jameer Thurman had the forced fumbles. One was recovered by Will Sunderland, who played well after being inserted into the secondary late in the week due to the injury to Javian Elliott. Tyreek McAllister was also a difference maker. He had some big returns, especially late in the game. He had 2 in the fourth quarter, a 39-yarder and a 54-yarder that allowed the Ticats offense to start in Calgary territory, and both those returns led to field goals. Think about it. In a game that ended up by a margin of 7 points, getting those fourth quarter field goals set up by McAllister's great returns were huge. Matt Shiltz finished with a line of 11 for 19 for 225 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's a fantastic guy. The team loves him, and his play added a spark to the Tiger Cats when they needed it.
Just fortunate enough to be able to get back out there and do the guys and just kind of do whatever I could when my number was called to help us win.
So you know how to return with dramatic fashion. The first pass, 70-yard touchdown to Tim White. That was pretty impressive. Was that the plan? Was that the play, or did you just read what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of both. So, on that play, Tim and I both just kind of saw a certain look, and, he kind of threw his arm up, and we were able to get that completion. But, it was kind of going to be a shot-type play either way. But we both kind of saw it with the right look, and it just so happened that it was kind of like the go ball look. So we were fortunate enough to both see it at the same time and take that shot.
Terry Godwin gets another touchdown. That's 3 straight games for him. What have you seen in his progression since you last were starting a game?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I've been able to kind of sit back. That's the thing with being injured and kind of being in like a backup role, kind of being off the field. You can kind of take in a lot more practice. You can take in kind of how guys are progressing, how they're growing, how they're developing. And he just shows up to work every day and, wants to take the coaching from, both the coaching staff and the veteran guys on the team, whether it's, Tim or some of the older quarterbacks in the room with Bo and I. So it's been really great having him around, having him grow, having him develop. And it's been cool to see him get that success then on the field with his stats too.
How big were those Tyreek McAllister returns in the fourth quarter?
Coach Jeff has a special teams rolling right now, and when you have an asset like Tyreek, he can change a game, especially if our offense is kind of struggling to get field position there or get a couple first downs. That can be a huge explosive play just to kind of get the offense going and set us up to get some points like it did, when we really needed them. So Tyreek's an amazing player, even better person, and we're really fortunate to have him on our side. Matt,
there was some word when you got injured that your career could be in jeopardy, which makes this comeback even more impressive. Was that something that was said to you or had crossed your mind that this might be more serious than it turned out to be?
I mean, yeah, when I was on the field, that definitely crossed my mind. We didn't know how serious it was. We knew it wasn't looking too good when the injury happened, but we were fortunate enough to kind of get some other opinions and keep progressing and kind of feel good as we kept on going. So just a big credit to the coaching staff and especially our rehab staff and our team of doctors, just kind of keeping me grounded and helping me work back through that challenging time. But I was just fortunate enough to be able to kind of walk and stay upright during that whole rehab process and be able to actually bear weight on my hip and then even more fortunate enough to get back out there on the field early. So just very thankful.
Watching you, it didn't look like you were coming back from an injury. You had 30 yards rushing as well. You weren't eager to slide a couple of times. How'd the body hold up? How do you feel after the game?
The body felt great, to be honest. That was, in a weird way, it was the freshest my legs have felt. So I can't complain, and it was good to get that first hit out of the way for sure. But after that, it was just all about football.
And what a game to come back for and lead the team to victory. You clinch a playoff spot. What was it like in the locker room after?
Oh, it was awesome. Definitely we're excited. The whole team was pumped up, and it was cool to get that win at home, too, in front of the home crowd. They were great all night, and, we love giving them something to cheer about. They come out in droves to support us, and we love playing here, so it was awesome.
Now you're in the playoffs, but still a little bit to play for. You can get a home playoff game. Pretty interesting how the schedule has worked out. The last regular season game will be against Montreal. You'll play them in the playoffs. Just don't know where yet. Is that the goal, the home playoff game?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're still working, we still have a lot to prove, both internally and then, with the rest of the league in the East. And, we're not going to get complacent, although it was a big win. And, yeah, we clinched the playoff spot. We're still hungry. And that's the mentality that everybody in the locker room has, that we're still preparing for the bigger goal. And, the next goal along that journey is to secure a home playoff game. So we're just worried about kind of taking care of business week by week as we finish out the season here. And, Sask is going to be a good test because they're fighting too. So we're preparing on all cylinders and doing everything we can to go out there and get a win.
The Tiger Cats are 4-2 in the second half of the season. Both of those losses were against Toronto. That's the only team they've lost to in the second half of the season. The Tiger Cats play their second last regular season road game on Saturday when they visit the Rough Riders. It's a normal kickoff time for the Tiger Cats, a reasonable 7 o'clock Eastern time. You can listen to the Ticats audio network. Luke Tasker and I will have the play-by-play. Bubba O'Neill and Andy Fantus have the pregame show at 6. Log on to listen.ticats.ca for all the action.
This has been Run It Back with RJ Broadhead. If you like what you're hearing, give us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your audio content.